All right, folks, we are on time tonight. What do you guys say? Let's get this party started. It is April 15th, 2025. Some call it tax day. Some call it volunteering. We're going to talk about that one here as we get this live show started tonight. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. The title of the show is Ripple Takes Quantum Leap with XRP. Now, very simply, what a quantum leap is not one step after another. We build it up slowly to get to our goal. A quantum leap is going 0 to 100 real quick. To quote Drake, whatever you think of Drake, we can give him that one credit for that one, right? 0 to 100 real quick. That's what a quantum leap is. That's what Ripple just did with their acquisition, one of the largest acquisitions in the cryptocurrency space ever. $1.25 billion deal, prime broker by the name of Hidden Road. Now, what's so interesting about this acquisition is just the sheer amount of volume that they do. And we also want to note that Brad Garlinghouse just followed up Larry Fink on Fox Business. And for those of you guys who don't know who Larry Fink is, he is in charge of BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world. Over 10 trillion assets under management at one point. I don't know what the current tally is for BlackRock. Absolutely massive. In fact, they've had the most successful ETF ever with that Bitcoin ETF, a tremendous success. By the way, they have multiple precious metals gold ETFs as well. And I do expect them to have an XRP ETF when this is all said and done. Now, we're going to talk about the additional ETFs that are going live for XRP at the end of the month. That brings in net flows. That's inflows coming into XRP. JP Morgan predicts 4 to 8 billion. I've ran you through the math on what that could do for XRP price-wise. It's tremendous. It's very exciting. But in this update, at the very end, I'm going to hone in on our technical analysis, where we're at right now. And yes, we came back down today. But I want to note something that's very, very important. And I got to get something out of the way real quick. I am not paid by Ripple. I know a lot of people think that, right? Because they ask the question, how can you come and put such bullish content out? How can you get so excited about this opportunity? And my answer to that is it's based off of fundamentals. It's based off of already hitting a 5-bagger, nearly a 6-bagger on XRP post-Trump election. Hence why we got the Trump XRP shirt. It's not just a meme. It's a 500% return for our portfolio. And we still have a tremendous upside potential here. And I want to make it very clear. Ripple has remained in a position that nobody else is in amidst all of this. And I understand folks, want to accuse me and want to attack me. It's just like on my multiplier video. Folks can't refute the math. Folks can't refute the data, so they attack me. Well, that just reiterates the point. That just proves how strong our analysis is when nobody will touch it. Nobody will break apart my equation, even though I ran you through what's not included, what is included. It's not perfect math, but we don't need perfect math to make a decision. And that's what's so important in the investment world here. And so when it comes to Ripple here, you guys are seeing here, I did not even look at the charts in preparation for today's video because the fundamentals are so strong. There's so many people that are focused in on today's price action and they're missing where the trajectory. They're missing the trajectory and they're going to get left behind because they think that this is something to just trade around, like one of these other cryptocurrencies that doesn't have long-term staying power, that hasn't been in the top 10 for over a decade. And so I just wanted to note that and tell you guys that I looked at the chart before I started up the live show and I see, oh, wow, XRP came down today. I was traveling out of the office. For those of you guys who saw my video earlier today, I was down in Seattle. We stayed in Seattle over the night with the family because I had to get an MRI done on my chest, my heart. And so I couldn't have coffee before my appointment, and my appointment was at 8 a.m. this morning in Seattle, and I'm a couple hours from Seattle, and I said, there's no way in heck I can drive 2 hours with no coffee down to Seattle for an 8 a.m. appointment. So we made a little family trip. We had a great time on the way down. We stopped at the Tulip Festival, checked out the tulips there in Skagit County. For those of you guys in Washington State, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you guys outside, you're probably wondering what the heck I'm talking about. I live in a beautiful place, but the point being, I was out of the office over the last 24 hours or so, and then I come back in today, and we're breaking this situation down. I'm not even paying attention to price on most days, other than I can tell either in my comments or on Twitter that the market's been moving. But what I'm focused on is the fundamentals, which is not reflected in today's price necessarily or directly. And this is where you knock it out of the park. Folks are wondering, why am I not catching the next 5 bagger? Why am I not hitting a 10 bagger like seemingly everybody else in crypto is? Well, either you're not on the inside with the cabal, and you guys have seen that. There's cabals on the XRP memes. There's cabals in the Solana memes. There's a Bitcoin cabal. There's an Ethereum cabal. There's a Mike Novogratz Galaxy Digital cabal. So either you're not on the inside, that's why you're not knocking it out of the park, or you're not taking the time to do the fundamental research on the projects before they hit it for a big one. And so we got to hone in on just how massive this acquisition was by Ripple. This is why I titled tonight's episode, Ripple Takes a Quantum Leap with XRP. I got a full update to cover. I want to get right on into it. I appreciate you for stopping by. If you haven't already, please make sure you've liked this video, you've shared it out far and wide, and let's get right on into it. All of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. You know the deal. Let's roll. We're looking at Peter Schiff reporting on what his father called as the real April Fool's Day. He says, my father, Erwin Schiff, always called April 15th the real April Fool's Day, as that was the day the IRS fooled millions of Americans into voluntarily filing income tax returns, what he called confessions, even though no law required anyone to file those returns to pay the tax. And his dad was someone who went up against the government and did lose, or did end up in jail, right? And in the comments, Peter Schiff does respond, and he does say that he doesn't play anymore because he knows that the government and the Fed and the IRS is corrupt, and he knows that they can take it to the kangaroo courts, and so he doesn't even want to mess with them, even though his father did, right? And his father was a legend in the space for doing so, but he did pay the price. He did make a sacrifice for doing so. But the good news is that we've opened up this can of worms, right? We've hit just the peak of the iceberg when it comes to this tax conversation. And what I'm talking about is with Trump opening up tariffs to collect revenue, and he's made the comments today, as he's made a few times now, about how this tariff revenue could actually replace the income that we get from the income tax from a government standpoint. And what we're going to listen to in this next clip is him talking about just the conversation starter, the icebreakers, as I've called them, which is no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. And obviously he wants to take it a lot further. But the good news is at least we're having that conversation. Let's play this clip here. President Trump on taxes.
All I can say is we're trying like hell.
Yeah.
Okay, it's really not. If it's up to me, 100% I can promise. But I have some strange people I deal with, and we have to get it approved. But the no tax on tips I love. No tax on overtime is incredible. No tax on Social Security for the seniors is great. And the deduction of interest. You buy a car, and if you buy the car, and it's only if it's made in America, otherwise who cares, right? But and more factories are moving back. I think you see that. Everybody sees it. A lot of people don't like talking about it, but everybody sees it. We have record number of car factories coming back, and other factories too. You just saw today on the computer chips and all of the things related to computer. You see what's going on?
Yes.
It's crazy, even beyond my wildest expectations. But the answer on the question is that will I try and do those three things? Plus, I would like to add the interest on cars if it's made in America. I'm trying like hell.
I love it.
I think we'll be successful.
Yeah. And we need to get it done. We got to get it done, right? We got to move in that direction. And we got to look at the IRS. We got to look at all of it. And Elon and Doge, they've already started that process, but we really got to get to this point. We got to head in that direction. That's a great start. I talked about how this was a great icebreaker because it's hard for people to argue the fact of taxing tips, taxing Social Security, taxing OT, right? We want Americans to be more productive, right? And this whole idea of the income tax was actually, in relative terms to the American experience as our country, we had the income tax. What is it? It's probably we've had it, or we haven't had it for longer than we have had it as a country. We did survive before we had the income tax, but today, April 15th, filing day, we once again find ourselves in a struggle of where are our tax dollars being spent, right? We all are mostly willing to pay a quote unquote fair share for national defense, for the few things that the federal government is actually supposed to do. But this bureaucracy beast, as I like to call it, has definitely gotten out of control. I commend President Trump for showing us which path he would like to go down, and many others in Congress, the path that they would like to go down. I'm going to play a clip here next from Byron Donalds as far as a path that I would definitely love to go down, and that would be removing the accredited investor rule. Here's Byron Donalds. Let's take a listen in on this one.
One of the things that I'm pushing for is a repeal of what's called the accredited investor rule. Yes. How that works is I'm gonna get high level. So
yeah, and most of us already understand it. It's less than 200,000 income, you're not going to qualify as an accredited investor. Or if you have less than $1 million net worth, you're not going to qualify as an accredited investor, and you're not going to be allowed to participate in private placements or pre-IPO. Well, you could do private placements, I suppose, but pre-IPO private equity, you're not going to have access to. And this is why our system's so rigged. I'm going to talk more about our rigged, jacked up Wall Street system. The fact that we have leveraged XRP ETFs going live before we have a spot XRP ETF. This is why we're upside down. We're in the middle of a global margin call. And before we give folks a spot position, we give them 2x long. That was the first XRP ETF that went live last week. And I'm going to talk more later about the additional ETFs that are going live potentially by the end of this month. And you got a short XRP ETF and you got an ultra short XRP ETF. So you can go long, you can go short, ultra, 2x long, ultra short. But can you just pick up a spot position? Hey, I just want to get some exposure. You call up your broker and you say, can you get me some exposure to that XRP? And he says, well, yeah, we can go 2x long or we can go ultra short. And then the other ETFs that ProShares is launching is another short one. It's not an ultra short, but just a regular short. And then they have an ultra XRP ETF, which I guess is just a ultra long, just a regular long. I don't know. I'll have to read their prospectus. But can we just pick up a spot position of XRP? Right? This is what's coming with the spot ETFs. And we've been talking about the inflows that we'll see from those, how massive that's going to be. More on that later in this episode. Kenny G, I appreciate the 5 spot. Thank you for that super chat. Keep sending it, Zach. We will not stop. Even if XRP goes to 589 and beyond, we are not going anywhere, folks. This is what we were meant to do. We are right where we are supposed to be, God willing. And I went and got that ticker checked up. It's doing good for now. We keep that going. We're just going to go until we drop. I mean, literally, this is where we're supposed to be. We're not going anywhere. And it's incredible. Reading back some of the comments this week, some people want me gone. Literally. They're so mad about XRP. They say, screw your health. I don't care about your health. They literally want us gone. Well, God willing. God willing. Let's keep it rolling. And God willing, we get rid of the accredited investor. And then we start that conversation on taxes. And where are we at with taxes? We're way too far gone, right? We're way too far gone. Now, interesting point here. We've talked about the insiders offloading the stocks. I've been talking about how fragile and weak this stock market is, how pathetic it is to listen to the suits crying about their, stocks coming down a little bit. The likes of Bill Ackman, who wants to cry about how things are going with Trump and the tariffs. And then he wants to flip flop and support Trump after they pause the tariffs. Then he's a supporter, flip flopping back and forth. And the whole time, they're going long, they're going short, they're hitting the exits. That's Jamie Dimon selling 133,000, 639. That's an interesting number. I'm sure somebody can pump that into the numerology and figure out some sort of decode on that one. 133,639 JP Morgan shares at an average price of $235.68. He always top ticks the markets from Finance Lot. Here's the chart. Jamie Dimon selling the top, selling on the way down, hitting the exits. And I talked about Mark Zuckerberg while he was appearing on UFC, pumping it up. I know there was a big UFC fight this weekend. I didn't see it, but I did see President Trump's walk in. I did see that one. I didn't watch the fights, but you got Mark Zuckerberg. He's hanging out with the crew, doing the cool thing, right? He's got a complete makeover. T-shirt. He still wears the T-shirt, but he wears the chain now. He wears the chain. It's got a nice perm, and then he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. He's hanging out with the UFC, right? And I make a joke of this because while he's putting on this facade, Jamie Dimon and all these guys, they're building bunkers. That's literally what Meta founder Mark Zuckerberg was building all throughout this last year, and also offloading a bunch of his Meta stock as well too. So that's how this game's played. See, we come on out, we're a cool guy, we're bouncing around, ringside, UFC. You bet, bro. Meanwhile, he's making sure, how's the bunker coming along? Yeah, okay, going according to plan, that's good. And then he's calling up his guy, have we continued our selling operation, offloading the top here on our stock? And I've noted here, it's just to reiterate the point on how weak this stock market is, right? Now, the crypto market did come back down today. The main driver of that was the Europeans, the European Union. And I don't know who was speaking on behalf of the European Union, but that was the headline that comes across the ticker, right? Was that there's no progress on tariffs in the European Union. And so they're going to remain in place. And that's, Trump coughs, the market falls. Somebody puts out a tweet, the market falls. And the only thing that breaks away this crypto space, in my opinion, is utility. And this is why I remain so bullish on real utility in the cryptocurrency space, but honing in specifically on XRPs that are, XRP and other cryptocurrencies that are made in America and based in America, right? A lot of companies trying to get in now. Well, you're late. And the interesting point that Ripple has where they can resonate with President Trump is that they both had to go up against the bureaucracy beast in our corrupt government. Ripple defeated the SEC, President Trump, the Department of Justice, and every other arm of this government that tried to stop him. So let's continue on here. Let's continue on. Zuckerberg playing human. That's exactly right. Right. Yeah. Let's continue on here. This is a very important point right here. Gold fund net inflows have hit a record 80 billion year to date. This is 2 times more than the previous high set in the full year of 2020. Investors are pouring money into gold at a record pace as the market uncertainty has skyrocketed. As a result, gold prices have rallied 22% year to date and have outperformed every other major asset class. I gotta correct Kobesi letter here besides crypto, because with our XRP, 589% after the Trump election, we're still up over 300%. So gold's done great, not quite as good as crypto, but hey, that's why we have 2 sides of our portfolio. It's the barbell approach. One side defense, one side offense. It's, equally weighted, defensive, offensive. Gold prices have also hit a 52 all-time highs over the last year, posting the best streak in 12 years. Gold is the global safe haven. But the point that I want to make here is that folks are getting exposure to paper gold, not something that I'm interested in. I'm not here to give you financial advice, but it's not something that I'm interested in. And it's something that I'm worried about. To add, who's taking physical delivery and who's getting paper? Well, the central banks, they're making sure that they get physical delivery in their vault, while the retail traders and speculators who think that this is just kind of a something to play around with, they're getting exposure through the paper markets. Big difference. Global net gold purchases by central banks hit 24 tons in February, the most since November of 2024. This marks the 20th month of net buying over the last 21 months. Central banks are now on track for their 16th consecutive year of net purchases, according to the World Gold Council. Over the last 3 years, world central banks have acquired a massive 3,176 tons of gold. Central banks are buying gold like we are in a crisis. Now, I follow up with this story here. Binance and KuCoin go down due to an Amazon Web Service data center outage. Binance suspends withdrawals to keep user funds safe. Not your keys, not your crypto. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. To shout out Lynette Zhang, somebody that I've had on the show before, and someone who gets it from the standpoint of when you have exposure to these assets, to the paper derivative markets, you do not own the actual underlying asset. Right? Not free and clear, not without leverage, not without counterparty risk. And this is so important, whether it be your crypto, whether it be your metal. Should we own it in paper? Should we keep it all on the exchanges? Probably not. If you need somebody to help you out, we have folks like Caleb and Brown, a brokerage service that also provides every single one of their clients institutional grade custody. That's linked up down below. We also have self-custody wallets linked up down below. If you want to hold your keys, if you want to hold it, if you want to actually own it, we have that linked up down below as well. But this is a very important point right here because, yes, it's great. If you get exposure in the paper markets and you see some appreciation on your gold ETF, fantastic. You get some exposure through the ETFs to your crypto, that's great. But when the systems go down, when there's an Amazon Web Service data center outage, do you hold it? Do you own it? Do you have access to it? In fact, this is one of the reasons why I got my physical, why we keep it physical, while we're so heavily invested in the digital world. Because I call this blackout barter. When the systems go down, whether it be Amazon Web Service, whether it be the lights, whether it be whatever, the aliens invade, I can still transact. And the good news is the aliens are probably still going to accept XRP as the intergalactic world reserve currency too. Now, speaking of storing it, I wanted to give a shout out here to T Boone on X. This is Tyler from the Ty Project. And he's asking the question, which application for ArcPlate comes next? API key, two-factor authentication key, or general password? And so the reason why I'm sharing this is because Tyler from the Ty Project, one of his best products is this ArcPlate, which he prints out, and it's like a bar of silver right here, but I believe it's titanium steel. And what you do is you punch in your seed phrase, and he's talking about setting it up for API key, two-factor authentication, general password, where you literally, you punch it in to a piece of metal. So if your house burns down, you got your seed phrase that isn't, your seed phrase that's on a piece of paper that burned up in the fire, it's gone. But that titanium piece of metal that's fireproof, well, you still got your seed phrase there. That's just one of the products that he sells. But I just put in an order with Tyler, and we picked up some dog tags right here. This would be the XRP family and the Better Bitcoin dog tags. Check that out from the Ty Project. And we're going to be selling these on our website, the Better Bitcoin dog tag. But what I'm going to do for the next 10 orders of merchandise on my website, I'm going to be giving you guys one of these for free. So I'm going to give away 10 of these. I wanted to announce this tonight. Not only does Tyler sell great products with real utility like that ArcPlate, I think that that's a tremendous product. But I also love the XRP family merch, and we got to get the word out about the Better Bitcoin too. And so to jumpstart this, I'm going to be giving away 10 of these. The next 10 orders for merch on my website, I'm going to throw one of these in, and I'll ask you which one you want. When you place your order, you'll be getting an email from our team. Let us know if you want the XRP family, the Better Bitcoin dog tag. I'm going to be throwing that one in to get this party started. But huge shout out to Tyler. I think that he has a great product, and I'm excited to add this one to our website as well. Now, continuing on, because this is so important. Speaking of the exchanges, this is from X-Force Global, who is a friend that I've now made. I call him a friend. I guess I just met him on Twitter. He's an acquaintance that we've come across. I really don't even know this guy other than over the past month or so. But I've come to really enjoy his technical analysis and the perspective from Korea. It's so important for us, all of us XRP investors, to understand Korea because it accounts for upwards of about 20% of XRP's market cap and a significant amount of the XRP volume when it comes to the trading. So it's very important for us to understand South Korea. And you've seen Ripple's already been dominating in the Asia Pacific region. That would include Korea. Very important to understand. So X-Force Global shares this. South Korea is tightening its grip on exchanges left and right. And this is only the beginning. More regulation isn't a setback, it's a sign of the evolving landscape. Like it or not, this is the new paradigm we need to embrace. This is precisely why XRP stands out as one of the most important assets today. Why? It's the only coin that secured a first mover advantage in regulatory clarity, which is one key reason why Koreans keep accumulating it. Remember, Korea alone accounts for 20% of XRP's total market cap, with Upbit also accounting for 5% of the total supply. 5% of the total XRP supply is on the Korean exchange Upbit. Funny how we once championed deregulation, yet now we thrive in a world where regulation is exactly what we seek. And that's the funny thing. It was all the crypto bros and the degenerates that wanted no regulation. We were actually asking for sound, reasonable, common sense regulation. We're not here to exchanges. We're operating as unregistered overseas virtual asset operators. That would be KuCoin, MEXC, Femex, BitTrue, and some other names that you might recognize. 14 total. The reason why I find this so interesting, though, is because these are exchanges that were trying to push you into leverage. I used to use KuCoin to trade futures. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing so. It let me scratch my degenerate itch. I already see we got one order come in. So there's one dog tag going out to Michael Vucic. Michael Vucic, I appreciate your order. Thank you very much. You will be receiving a dog tag. Thank you very much for supporting the cause. KuCoin, when I was on that platform, what you see is banners and flashes and alerts. Come participate in this 50,000 USDT. It's all backed by Tether. It's all Tether. All of it. Come participate in this new game, this new program, this new trivia. And you can share this with your friends and you can earn Tether. It's all Tether. All leverage. What are we going through right now? Global margin call. How's Tether doing? Well, we just heard from the CEO of Tether, Paolo. He's buying more Bitcoin. Oh, these guys. I mean, it never fails. It just cracks me up. You know, the memes make themselves at this point with Michael Saylor, Paolo from Tether. They're all buying each other up. But the reason why I'm sharing this is because these, in Korea, 14 exchanges taken off. But what do they still have access to? The spot markets on Upbit and others. And maybe they provide leverage too. They probably do. But most importantly, right, what happens when you just pick up spot positions? What happens when you actually hold it and you own it? Is you can sit back and watch all of this chaos unfolding around us and know that you've secured your assets. Know that you have no counterparty risk. We got another order just came in from Harlan Begay. That's 2 orders right there. 2 orders so far. I appreciate your guys' support. You guys are fantastic. Now, by the way, these are going to retail for over $30, these dog tags. So we're going to sell these $30 a pop. But for right now, for the next 8 orders at this point, you can get a free dog tag with your merch order for those of you guys that missed that, okay? Now, I want to hone in once again on these exchanges, these order book flows, and what we've observed. Because this relates to the difference between futures and the difference between the spot market. A fascinating example here was this OM ticker was the coin OM with Mantra, this Mantra coin. Apparently, it was being heralded as one of the top RWA real-world asset plays for this cycle. Let me take a deep breath. Because I'm telling you right now, when some of these biggest influencers are showing you, you know the game. I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys know the game. You know me. You know the rest of these guys. You know how it's played. OM. Big RWA play. This thing nuked. Absolutely nuked. And apparently it wasn't the team. That's the story that they're telling. I don't know. I haven't looked into it too deep. But what I have looked into was the order book flows. The order book flows on the exchanges when it came to this OM ticker collapsing to the tune of nearly 6 billion. It was about 6 billion of market cap loss. And what I observed is that there was only 97, I got my sticky note right here, 97 million of spot outflows out of this. In fact, we even observed tremendous amounts of inflows into this asset. Folks were actually buying the dip on this coin. And even more so than there were outflows. So the crash on OM was actually driven by the futures market. It's something to pay attention to. And the reason being, with XRP, I've talked about the XRP strength because we're seeing spot inflows into XRP. Now, this compares to other coins which have massive leverage positions behind them. They're being pumped up by futures, which is not a solid foundation because all it takes is some cascade. A couple liquidations get started, and then you have cascading liquidations. We just got another order came in. As 3 orders so far. Okay? It's another one. We got 4. 4 orders so far. 6 remaining orders for the XRP merch that's going to include you a dog tag. The reason why XRP is so strong and remaining so strong on the chart is because there's a massive buy wall. Folks want exposure to it. And because most of the people holding XRP are holding spot positions of XRP. They're not leveraged up. So when XRP does come down, we either chill or we buy the dip. And that's what folks are doing in a massive way. Every time it comes below $2, folks are piling in the spot market mostly, and it's pumping XRP back up. But I've noted how in my market cap multiplier equation, one of the things that's not included is the futures market. And that's something that we do have to account for. Because in the story here with this OM coin, it was really the futures market and the over-leveraged positions that started to trigger mass liquidations, cascading liquidations one after another, and it wiped out 6 billion of market cap. As I've been saying, market cap is a figment of your imagination. Just like that, it's gone. So this is from Dom Trader View 2. He just got another order, and that's 5. We got 5 left on the merch and the dog tags. The biggest wake-up call from the OM crash is the lack of liquidity in the crypto market. $45 million market sold on perpetual futures markets wiped out. $5.6 billion of market cap in 2 hours. Now, this is interesting because it notes that it doesn't even take, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio with the futures relation either, right? We lost 6 billion of market cap. Did we get 6 billion of outflows in the spot market? No, not even close. I tracked only 97 million. That's a market cap multiplier of 57x. What's interesting is if you look at the futures market right here, as Dom Trader View shows us, only $45 million sold in the futures market wiped out 5.6 billion of market cap. So that would be twice the multiplier. Because I tracked 97 million spot, he's tracking 45 million futures. So the futures really was to account for here, and that's an even more dramatic multiplier because it's only 45 million versus 97 million. I hope that this math is simple enough for everybody to understand. The point being, it doesn't take a lot of money coming out, and it doesn't take a lot of liquidations in the futures to get that project to absolutely tank. We just got another order. That's 6. We got 4 orders left for free XRP family, or the better Bitcoin dog tags, you let me know what you want. You'll be receiving an email from the team. Let us know. 4 orders left. $45 million market sold on perp futures, wiped out $5.6 billion of market cap in 2 hours. That's incredible. Really just sit back and think about that for a second. 0.82%, not even 1% of the perceived value was able to be extracted. The perceived value. Market cap is a figment of your imagination. That's sadly the case for many of these altcoins. Why? Market makers are here to make money, not provide you exit liquidity during a collapse. That is the raw truth with most altcoins in this market. Market makers can step away at any point during a downturn and poof. Who else uses that term? Poof. Market cap is a figment of your imagination, then poof. Less than $100 million. Even 1 million with 100x leverage can do some major damage. Check out the quoted post for a thread I shared last year about market cap being an illusion. And so I want to give a shout out to TraderView. He's been talking about this market cap being an illusion for well over a year now. He's been talking about the order book inflows too. I've seen him share some good analysis on that as well. And it's something that we've really taken a look at since November when XRP started to actually move. And we observe, wow, only 20 million is coming into XRP on the spot market, but yet XRP is shooting up significantly in market cap by tens of billions, right? And so, I mean, for example, the Trump example is one of the best. There was like 27 million of inflows on the spot market, and there was 44 billion of market cap growth. We just got another order on merch, so now we only have 3 left, 3 merch orders left that will receive free dog tags. Now, I want to show you, because this is where even more inflows are coming. And this is what we're looking at right here. These XRP ETFs. Okay. And the impacts that we're going to see. See, you're adding up inflows from the spot market. You're adding up the futures market when people are betting long. And next, and this is probably even bigger than what we've been able to accomplish. We just got another one. We just got another order. We're down to 2 orders left for the merch. And these are brand new, by the way, guys. No one else has these. These are brand new. Tyler made these just for me. We got 2 orders left. These ETFs are going to bring even more inflows and sustained inflows. JP Morgan predicting 4 to 8 billion over the first year. This is from ProShares. This is the S1 filing, this is the Form N1, where they make a registration statement, and they're hoping to get this to go live on April 30th, 2025 here. That's at the end of this month. Now, these XRP ETFs are leveraged ones. So you have one short XRP ETF, you have one extra short, it's ultra short. That's the term that they use. Ultra short XRP ETF. And then you have an ultra XRP ETF, which I believe is a long XRP ETF. So if this goes live at the end of the month, this will be added to the XRP ETF we got last week. I forget who got that ETF, or it was that firm that we never even heard of, right? They weren't even really on the radar. I butcher their name, I think, when I pronounce it, but it's some weird name that starts with a T, the company that did the XRP ETF last week. And please note that they have already stated that that's been their most successful fund launch ever. So word's about to start spreading around Wall Street how successful these XRP futures ETFs are. And this is all leading us up to the spot XRP ETFs that are coming later this year as well. They will be live this year for sure. There's just no chance. The final deadline's October, but we now have SEC Chair Paul Atkins has now been confirmed, and we are watching the shift in tone in this SEC. They started to give out guidance. Okay, we just got another order in, so we got 1 order left for a free dog tag included. You guys are just having a fun time here tonight with us, running it up. I appreciate you guys for stopping by, all the support. whether you're just liking our videos, helping us out by sharing them out, you buy an XRP family merch, we appreciate you for supporting the cause. Thank you so much. Now, let's get into the title of this episode. Let's get even more bullish, huh? Let's take a sip of something. What do you say? Are we bullish in the chat or what? Peter Schiff is running a space titled "Gold Just Surged to a New Record High." Do I need to check this out? Tia Cream. That's right. Tia Cream. Yeah. That is the company that launched the XRP ETFs last week. Are we bullish in the chat because gold soaring to a new all-time high? XRP is about to go to a new all-time high. Holy cow. Look at the gold contracts on the open right here. Take a look at this one, folks. We're about to break 3,300 per ounce gold. Wow. 3,300. Are you guys bullish enough in the chat? Have you guys smashed it yet? Have you guys tapped it yet? Are we sharing it out far and wide yet? Gold. And this is why we hedge both ways. Precious metals for defense. Our defensive measure is outperforming the stock market right now. Gold. Destroying the stock market right now. With incredible strength and fundamentals behind it. Meanwhile, on the other side, our crypto. Oh boy. Lock in, folks, because we're about to talk about it right now. Ripple takes a quantum leap with XRP. We're talking about the Hidden Road acquisition. It took Ripple nearly a decade to achieve 70 billion in payments, in volume through Ripple payments. It took them nearly a decade. Excuse me. So it takes Ripple nearly a decade to achieve 70 billion in payments volume through their product Ripple Payments, which has been called Xcurrent, Xvia, Xrapid, on-demand liquidity. Now it's all Ripple Payments. You have Ripple Payments, you have Ripple Custody. They got the Stablecoin issuer as well. It took them nearly a decade to do 70 billion. They just acquired a company, Prime Brokerage Service, in Hidden Road that does 10 billion daily. So in 7 days, they will be moving the same amount of volume it took them nearly a decade to achieve. Okay, guys, we just got our final 10th order. I'm gonna up the ante. Since we already hit the number at 10. Anybody that orders XRP family merch during this live show, I'm sending you a free dog tag. Okay? Anybody that orders merch during this live show tonight, since you guys are jumping on this opportunity, I want to reward you guys. Anybody that orders it tonight during this live show, after I get off this live show, I'm cutting it off, but anybody that orders XRP family merch during this live show is getting a free dog tag. Team will send you an email. We'll ask you, XRP family, better Bitcoin. Now, when Hugo from Flare, this is Hugo from Flare, when he's hyping up and pumping up XRP and talking about XRP eclipsing value in almost every other network, it might be time to get bullish. Check it out. Hidden Road is an unbelievably interesting deal. If Ripple pulls off a strong integration between Hidden Road and the XRP ledger, then honestly, I can't see how the XRP ledger doesn't eclipse in value almost all other networks. Keep on singing it, Hugo. Hugo, I'm still waiting on F assets, but if you keep on preaching it, brother, we can rock with this. You don't have to give me F assets as long as you keep hyping us up like this, brother. And I'm just joking. I'm really proud that Flare's got F assets. I'm going to be doing a separate update on Flare too, by the way. I'm still bullish on Flare. I'm getting impatient. I am impatient, but that's because I'm a bag holder of Flare. and I want to see the thing pump, just like everybody does, right? So I'm getting impatience on Flare. But in the meantime, when you look at it, he's not even late when it comes. I mean, obviously, we would have loved to have F assets last year or the year before, but he's not even late. They're going to deliver this thing, and I think it is going to be massive. Not just their integration with providing utility to XRP, but Dogecoin and other cryptocurrencies as well. I think that what Flare's doing is awesome. And to get this type of recognition from Hugo is a big deal, because Hugo is not some XRP hype boy. Not at all. Not at all. So for him to say that if Ripple is successful in pulling off a strong integration, and remember, David Schwartz said, imagine a portion of Hidden Road's liquidity settling on the XRP ledger. David wouldn't be saying imagine that if it wasn't going to happen, if it wasn't going to be reality. And so they've already talked about and acknowledged that some of this liquidity from Hidden Road will be settled on the XRP ledger. They've already stated that the main collateral on their platform is going to be RLUSD. So a portion of this 10 billion daily, 3 trillion on a yearly basis is what Hidden Road settles. 3 trillion. Not 3 billion with a B. That'd be 3 trillion with a T is what Hidden Road moves on a yearly basis. And for Hugo to say this is absolutely massive. Pretty great position for Flare to be in, as we can enable many additional use cases for XRP, adding to its utility. And that's an important point, because we're already getting a massive amount of utility. XRP DeFi is exploding right now. The programmability that's being added to the XRP ledger is massive. But I titled this episode tonight, Ripple Takes a Quantum Leap with XRP, because Quantum Leap Advantage is actually the name of my mentor's program, Dan Pena. Dan Pena teaches methodology and strategy on business that he calls the Quantum Leap Advantage. And so my mentor has taught me about this. I've been listening to him for quite some time now. And so this whole program comes back to what I've learned and been taught by Dan. And you're seeing Ripple do it on a massive scale, one of the largest acquisitions in the cryptocurrency space, this $1.25 billion acquisition. And I'm going to play a clip here of Dan kind of explaining his first quantum leap. But what he calls a quantum leap is basically, as I said at the beginning of this episode, going from 0 to 100 real quick. Instead of building your business from 0 to 10 million, you go out and you acquire the company that's doing 10 million or worth 10 million, right? And his program is on building and buying, acquiring businesses and scaling them, and then conducting a series of successful transactions or exits. That's how he teaches folks to create generational wealth. And the most simple way to break down his program in a very oversimplified way is, everybody's heard of no money down houses, right? Where you go buy houses, you put them under contract, you sell them wholesaling, the whole no money down. And there's a bunch of different schemes and way to do that in real estate. What Dan teaches, and I'm oversimplifying this completely, but essentially what he's teaching is how to do that in the business world. You go out and you acquire businesses using leverage, other people's money. And that's how you take a quantum leap. Instead of building your business from the ground up, you take your company and you maybe go acquire another, or you don't even start your own. You just go acquire another, and you take what is a quantum leap. And that quantum leap for you might be acquiring a company for, that just does, 6 figures per year, or $1 million per year, right? This doesn't have to be a quantum leap like Ripple just took, which is a $1.25 billion acquisition that's going to bring in 10 trillion of liquidity 3 trillion. Let me correct myself. I don't want to get overexcited now. We're just going to do 3 trillion so far, and we'll be well on our way to 10 trillion on a yearly basis as well too. They'll probably take a couple other quantum leaps, and that's what the acquisition of Medico was. And then obviously standard custody as well too. And then now this Hidden Road is the biggest quantum leap that Ripple's really taken. And so let me play this clip here from Dan, and he'll explain his first quantum leap. And then I'm going to bring it back to Ripple and what they've just done with this acquisition of Hidden Road. And I can only play clips of Dan when he's speaking to colleges, because when he gives his seminars to the students, he's not using all of his profanity and vulgar language like he does at the castle. So I'm going to play this clip here. This is him speaking at a university. Take a listen.
I had a dream about 35 years ago. I'm the first person on the planet that took an option for something he did not own public on a major stock exchange. I'm going to say, okay, I don't own that book, right? I paid him $1. I want an option. I'll give you $5 for that book a year from now. I took an option. I took that book, not owning it, and I sold it on the New York Stock Exchange for $150 million. That's what I did. And that was the beginning of my quantum leap.
So he was the first person to take an option public on the New York Stock Exchange, take something that he didn't even own public on the New York Stock Exchange. And I believe that it was the rights to North Sea oil, I believe, because Dan made most of his money in the oil and the energy sector. And basically what he did is he made a massive energy conglomerate that acquired, it started in oil, but they eventually went into natural gas and other verticals as well too. But he talks about that. That's just one of many quantum leaps that Dan took. But we look now in that context at what Ripple just did. I think that many people are still overlooking what this acquisition means for Ripple, but furthermore, what it means for XRP. And they're not understanding what it means for XRP because they listened to Monica Long, the president of Ripple. They listened to Brad Garlinghouse talk about how RLUSD is going to be the main stablecoin backing as collateral on this prime brokerage service. And so they think, oh, they're using RLUSD, but they're not using XRP, not understanding, even though we've tried to break this down and we're going to continue to break this down for everybody, make it simple, that yes, in fact, RLUSD on the XRP ledger burns XRP every single transaction. And this is liquidity that doesn't necessarily need to be on any ledger, let alone the XRP ledger, but it is being brought to the ledger. It is being brought to blockchain. And the key ticker basically that's getting folks enticed to do this is RLUSD. Now, obviously Ripple has the choice, right? They have now acquired Hidden Road, so they can settle that 10 trillion wherever they want to, wherever they can find and build out that liquidity. But what they're saying is that a portion of that is going to be coming to the XRP ledger right away. And then we're going to watch that build out. And why this is so important is because it starts, RLUSD laid the blueprint for tokenizing real world assets on the XRP ledger. But now you're going to start to see a bunch of other real world assets brought to the XRP ledger. And Ripple will be able to provide the trading and liquidity between those, utilizing the XRP ledger, because you'll have RLUSD will be the stablecoin. You'll have all these other tokens issued on the XRP ledger, and you'll have XRP sitting in between. Now, the other thing too is just how, folks will say, oh, well, not that much XRP is being burned, but you also have to consider all these other institutions that are going to be acquiring and locking up and holding XRP as a reserve currency as well. See, there's multiple things that impact XRP's price, and you got to add them all up. You can't just look at one or two things here. You got to add up the amount of XRP that's being held, the amount of XRP that's being burned, the amount of XRP that's being locked up in trust lines for freaking meme coins, literally, not to mention all the XRP that's been spent on NFTs. Guys are spending tens of thousands of XRP on meme coins and NFTs, literally. All of that adds to XRP price and that valuation. But then you also got to add in the inflows that we'll see from the ETFs, etc. We've been tracking those inflows, right? You got to track the futures market. And so when you start to add all of this up, these are all catalysts that are bullish for pushing up and holding XRP's price up. I know folks want to see the pump today. And as we've come to learn, You can get a big announcement. Oh, Ripple acquires Hidden Road. Did it pump the price of XRP? Not really. Not really at all, right? XRP kind of was just moving up on some other things in a broader recovery that was taking place in this market. But you will see XRP moving to much higher prices in the not too distant future. And I can say that comfortably with conviction because I've added up all these factors. We've looked at the spot inflows that are coming in. We've looked at the ETFs that are on the way. We've looked at the futures. We've looked and ran through the numbers of just a portion of this liquidity coming to the XRP ledger from Hidden Road. It's all liquidity being brought and settled on the XRP ledger. And if you want to engage with the XRP ledger in the best way, you're going to hold some XRP yourself too, right? And in fact, you're going to add, you can add liquidity on both sides. Whatever tokenized asset that you have XRP, you add both assets to that liquidity pool, and you can create a public pool of liquidity that gets deeper and deeper and deeper and more liquid as more people want exposure to it. This is what's happening, and folks don't see it right now because they're just focused on today's price, not understanding that Ripple just commented how billions and trillions of dollars of liquidity are coming to the XRP ledger, and it will be impacting XRP price. Sometimes not directly, but indirectly, as we've explained. Now, this is Ripple's post that they just put out here today. Global businesses need fast, low-cost ways to move money. RLUSD is now integrated into Ripple payments, enabling real-time cross-border payments backed by institutional-grade compliance, transparency, and trust. The new standard is here. The reason why I'm sharing this tonight is because when I said the XRP ledger was going to build out the best source of liquidity, I wasn't accounting for how important it would be to have a solid stablecoin. And that's what we're now seeing through RLUSD. See, part of building out the best liquidity in the world is having a derivative of the US dollar, the number one reserve currency, on our ledger from an issuer that we can trust with a liquidity that has been built out that is deep, that can actually be tapped into. That's where RLUSD comes in. Now, I'm going to share this. This is very important because this blog post from Ripple highlights how stablecoin volume has already surpassed MasterCard and PayPal. Take a look at this, folks. I'm going to pull this up right here. Boom. Okay. This is right at the start of this article right here. These advantages have helped stablecoin adoption surge across businesses and financial institutions, with the total stablecoin market cap surpassing $210 billion earlier this year. In 2022 alone, fiat-backed stablecoins processed almost $7 trillion, surpassing MasterCard and PayPal, when the stablecoins have already surpassed MasterCard and PayPal. While they're debating whether or not this is legitimate technology, whether or not crypto is here to stay, we've already surpassed MasterCard and PayPal with just our stablecoins in an unregulated environment that was still the wild, wild west. What happens in a regulated environment? Why is Brad Garlinghouse keep reminding us that everybody is underestimating the U.S. market unlock? The greatest and best and biggest capital market in the world is getting the unlock for crypto. Why does Brad Garlinghouse keep reminding us of this point? While the rest of Wall Street, which Wall Street's now coming in, they're getting their ducks in a row so that they can sell it. They want to sell you the ETF. And many folks are just going to completely miss this opportunity while we've already far surpassed what the TradeFi space is doing. But I'm going to scroll on down to the bottom of this blog post so I can get my point across again. Check it out. RLUSD is now fully integrated into Ripple Payments, a platform that has already processed $70 billion in transaction volume. Remember, it has taken nearly a decade to achieve that $70 billion in transaction volume that they're citing right here. And they just acquired a company that does $10 billion daily. How many days does it take for us to reach that 70 billion in volume, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. And we're going to be at that volume that it took us nearly a decade to achieve across 90 payout markets. I mean, full global coverage, essentially. So Ripple Payments is now available in 90 plus payout markets. Took them nearly a decade to achieve 70 billion. Don't worry. Now we're going to do 10 billion on a daily basis. Now we're going to do 3 trillion on a yearly basis. You see what happened? But folks don't get it because the number today didn't go up on their XRP price chart. While they're zoomed in on the 5-minute chart with 50 different indicators trying to figure out when is this thing going to go up. When inflows come in, when utility is regulated, when liquidity starts to flow. I'm about to make a separate video explaining that tokenization doesn't equal appreciation. What does that mean? It means that you could tokenize $1 trillion on chain, but unless you actually have liquidity with that asset, for that asset, and trading between that asset and the native token of that ledger, you're not going to see appreciation. This is why you've seen Stellar has already a bunch of tokenized assets on chain. Has it moved the price of Stellar at all? No. What did move Stellar? Well, when Trump got elected and XRP pumped and XLM followed along. Not when they tokenized hundreds of millions of dollars on chain, which I commend them for. I mean, it's tremendous what we've seen in the Stellar ecosystem so far. Their work with Circle, once again, what's the main driver in the Stellar ecosystem right now? A stablecoin. Is it issued by Stellar? No. Issued by Circle. And Circle, for whatever reason, didn't take advantage of the opportunity. It was a wide open market on the XRP ledger. Circle just passed it up, which, thank goodness, gave an opportunity for Ripple to step in here. And now RLUSD is going to be used as the main source of the collateral for a volume that is 10 billion daily and 3 trillion on a yearly basis. And a portion of that liquidity is going to be settled on the XRP ledger. So the first step is to getting folks on the ledger. RLUSD is a great way to do that. And then other institutions tokenizing assets on the ledger is going to be great too. But if there's not trading, then you don't see price action because you need demand for the asset. So you need inflows coming in, and then you need folks to get exposure to the asset to get other assets, basically real world assets on the XRP ledger. That's where the price appreciation is going to come from. And that's what's happening right now. This is no longer a hypothetical. Now, we're still speculating on when XRP is going to appreciate on price and how high it will go, but that's the whole game. Now we know trillions are on the way, which was once a crazy conspiracy. Now we know it is on the way. Guaranteed. I'm cutting out. Why are we cutting out right now? They don't want you to have this information. Let me take a pause. Let's see if we can catch back up. Is my mic cutting out or is the feed cutting out? Is it the mic? Is it the mic or is it the feed? The way that I have my settings dialed in, when I get ranting and get excited, sometimes it does. So my apologies. No, you're clear. It was the feed. It was the feed. Okay. Okay. I was going to say the mic should be dialed in. My new studio office here. Trying to break up the echo. I got some soundproofing going up. I got some up already, but I might need some more. I have noticed that there's a little bit of an echo in here. Is the feed cutting out? Okay. Okay. They don't want you to have this information. Now, that's long term, which really, I talked about this. This is the title of the episode. It's a quantum leap. we're collapsing the timeline. How long is it going to take for trillions of liquidity to flow on the XRP ledger? What we once thought was maybe 5 to 10 years out is here now. Now. It's not a hypothetical. You're not dreaming. It's happening now. But short term, are we going to pull back a little bit more? We very well could. In fact, we are right now. Today, we are back down. We're at about 208 right now on the XRP price chart. But I want to show you something here that's very important here. Because even if we do have a correction and we do come back down below $2 again, I've been saying, and we're reminding folks that the bullish structure is still intact. And by the way, this is the final point that I have to share, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. So thank you for stopping by tonight. We're about to get into Q&A after I take a look here at the TA with you guys. Short-term timeframes. X-Force Global. There are absolutely no signs of bearish signals on the shorter timeframes. From a purely objective perspective, the price action remains corrective, opening up a range of scenarios that could lead us to astronomical highs. I saw in a post earlier today that X-Force Global said that $10 XRP is being extremely conservative. $10 XRP being extremely conservative. Let's take a look at his charts though, because like I said, we still could pull back. It does not break up our bullish structure that still is on the way to a new all-time high in double digits too, by the way. Take a look at it. On his XRP chart right here, he's showing the Elliott waves play out. I want to make sure you guys can see that. Yep, you guys can see that good. I'm going to read off this text right here though. Wave 2 can be any corrective pattern other than a triangle. We are still trying to figure out what's happening. But he shows us one scenario here where we could come on down back to the dollar. What does he have us at? Basically the dollar, that looks like $1.85, $1.80. But basically another wave down here below $2 before we blast off back above $3 again. And then we would be on our way to a new all-time high, $4 and $5. Here's a second scenario right here. Okay. And this one, he has us pulling back down once again, blasting off to $4, and then pulling all the way back down below $2 before blasting back off above $5, right? And so he's a TA person, technical analysis, that focuses on Elliott wave, right? And so you get these ABC structures. I don't really know Elliott wave all that well. But the reason why I like this guy is because he's got that perspective from Korea, but he also seems to be pretty dialed in on his Elliott wave analysis. And so I like to focus when you got TA folks that have their own niche or expertise. I like to take that in and we observe that. And the reason why I share this tonight with you guys is to show you that once again, yes, if we do come back down below $2, it will not last long. Place your orders now. If you're looking to execute a buy but below $2, don't wait to market buy. Don't wait till you get the alert and then you try to hit the buy button and your exchange doesn't get you through. This is why I like Caleb and Brown, which I've just started to use myself. It's because I can call up my broker on the phone, Jake Boyle. I say, hey, Jake, we need to buy. We need to sell this much, this price. Jake says, no problem. Here's your fee. Here's how much dollars you'll end up with. Here's how much XRP you'll end up with. Here's how much fee you'll pay to me. It's all transparent. They execute it. It gets done. Now, this is why I give myself options though, because we set ourselves up with orders on, I got Coinbase, Uphold, and Caleb and Brown. I also use the XRP Ledger DEX. I'm looking at taking some profit from XRP straight into RLUSD this bull run too. So I give myself options, some that I control, some that I have a broker for. And this is how I've set myself up. But we also do this on our exits, but we also do it on our buys. We ladder into positions, we ladder out of positions. And so for XRP, I'm here to say you might get another quick little wick down below $2 again. It's not going to last long. the fundamental value for XRP is a lot higher. We are on the way. We're going through a global margin call. The theme of the day is uncertainty. And we're trying to tell our friends, family, loved ones, and other people that we're trying to help out, hey, there's something about this asset when you hold it spot without leverage. Not only are you going to see price appreciation just by holding it and treating it as a reserve, but you also get a tremendous amount of utility that can actually be applicable in real life. That can actually solve problems for you, sending money cross borders. That can also get you exposure to real world assets that are now being brought on chain. And what we're also going to see is for those that own XRP, the suits, the DeFi, everybody's going to be sitting across the table from you trying to get your business because you got the gold. He who has the gold makes the rules. When it comes to the setup here throughout the rest of this year and the next year as XRP DeFi explodes, everybody and their brother is going to be offering you something for your XRP. And so now it gets into due diligence on these DeFi platforms. Who can you trust? Who can't you trust? And you guys know how stringent I'm going to be before anybody gets my world reserve currency of the new financial system, XRP. The native currency of the most liquid ledger in the world. I'm speaking it into existence. That's not the case now, but I believe it will be the case. And the higher XRP goes, the more liquidity can be provided with one XRP. It's simple math. So the old saying from David Schwartz, it can't be dirt cheap. Is dirt cheap still $5, $10, $20, $50? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Comments, questions, let's open this thing up. I appreciate you guys for stopping by tonight. I know we went a little bit live with the show here, an hour and 12 minutes, but I hope you guys appreciated it so far. Now I want to open it up for Q&A. And for everybody who is coming in late here, we did a giveaway. We were going to do 10. I said the first 10 orders that ordered XRP family merch, I was going to give you an XRP dog tag for free. We already got 10 orders, and so I decided to up the ante. Anybody that orders XRP family merch during this live show, you're going to get a free dog tag. We're going to give back today. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling bullish. Every time I go to the city, come back, I get motivated. You know? How are you guys doing tonight? Let me check up. We got a lot of super chats too to catch up on. Oh boy. Petro Pro, thank you for the 2 spot. No tax on American crypto. XRP to the moon. Yep. Just like Trump wants to say, no tax on your interest on your American-made cars. We could definitely see something on the way there. Absolutely. Joshua Bennett, thank you for the 5 spot. Appreciate you, Zach. Any chance XRP private ledger stays private? Price appreciation but never connects to public ledger? No. There's only one price of XRP. You have arbitrage, you have discrepancies between different exchanges, but XRP is only exists on the XRP ledger. XRP represented on a private ledger would be an IOU. It would be a wrap token. It would be a derivative of XRP. There is no 2 prices. Private ledgers will exist. Just like we saw, if you watch the DAG deep dive that I did, or the interview that I did with the CEO of Constellation Network, they created a private metagraph for the Department of Defense and the government. So private ledgers will always be a thing. And it's not going to stop them from integrating and operating with the public ledger too. It's just for certain parts of that basically what they're looking to achieve, it might need to be on a private ledger. Basically internal messaging, internal transactions. And one of the best examples that I've talked about is with our treasury. If we do see a partnership between Ripple and our treasury and they use the XRP ledger, you could see the treasury internal payments being on the private ledger, but then when they go to make their 50-year gold bond, 50-year bond backed by gold, they issue it on the XRP ledger. They could do so on the public ledger, and then you could have that liquidity being established on the public ledger while you still have treasury operating on their own private ledger for internal transactions, which might help some of the abuse, corruption, and fraud that we're seeing at Doge, right? So private ledgers will still be a thing. Absolutely. My XRP exit strategy, Josh. So at this point, I don't speak about my XRP exit strategy. I just don't share it publicly anymore. Okay. I am selling a little bit of XRP on the way up to $10. I have targets all the way up to into the 20s and $30 for XRP over the next year or so. I don't plan on selling over half of my XRP bag ever. That's where I'm at with XRP and my exit strategy. Yeah. Peter, thank you for the 5 spot. Start with no tax on USA crypto to $25, XRP to $25 by June. You heard it here first. XRP ETF coming soon. Are you going to Vegas? Absolutely, I'm going to Vegas. Yep. And it sounds like Brad's going to have me moderate a couple panels. I'm looking forward to those conversations. It's going to be good. I'm gonna try to do my best to make sure we have some lively conversations and some good roundtable conversations up there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, Vegas. Got to be there. XRP family, you bet. Mr. B, XRP, thank you for the 99 cents. I appreciate that. $1 will make you holla. 1970 legend, thank you for the 5 spot, brother. He says, that was my order. There you go. Jumping on it. We got more on the way too, by the way. Yep. James Hall, thank you for the 5 spot. Securitize acquires MG Stover's fund administration business to become the largest digital asset fund administrator. I saw that, James, from Jake and Max. Huge shout out to those gentlemen. Massive. And yeah, we're going to have to take a look at that. You know, it's so interesting what happened there because it brings us back to this whole PolySign debacle, right? And PolySign had some great pieces to their business. It's just like this thing got dissected up, right? Ripple acquired Standard Custody, and MG Stover was the fund administrator part of the part of the business, and PolySign had acquired that, but now it looks like Securitize has acquired MG Stover. So what we thought was this PolySign business that included Standard Custody, that included MG Stover, they did this deal with that one group, that one capital group. They did this one loan. They end up coming into default, and they call the loan due, and then next thing we know, PolySign's getting cut up, and I don't know, man. We're still watching, and it's like we talked about this. Like, what is of value in that business, right? And apparently MG Stover was still worth some. I mean, we know it was. MG Stover was a massive acquisition by PolySign when they did it. It really was a massive acquisition. And the fact that Securitize just took it over just reiterates that point. Massive. Yo, Zach, is the white hat fitted or snapback? So we're adding flex fits this week. I've already talked with my guy. We're ready to add them. So we're adding flex fits, large XL size flex fits. So we have the Yapung snapbacks. Flex fits will be added this week, and Richardson 112s. Okay. And we got more designs on the way too. Francisco Diaz, thank you for the 2 spot. Caleb and Brown broker, are they legit? I have seen nothing but positive reviews. I've had nothing but a great experience myself. They provide institutional grade custody for all of their clients, personalized brokerage service at a level that I haven't seen provided by anybody. So to me, they stand out. They've been really good. Yeah, they've been really good. Nick, thank you for that. $7.99. I appreciate that super chat. Thank you so much. Let me catch up on our chats here. Thank you. You guys let me up tonight here. Brian, thank you for the 5 spot. Marge X scam stole all of its users. I lost more leveraging elsewhere trying to recover what they stole. Exactly why we got to stay away and be careful with these exchanges. We got to be very careful with these exchanges. Wes, thank you for the 5 spot. Grok said that with just 10% of Hidden Road and 1% of Swift alone, XRP hits a range of $22.57 to $112.85. Yes. That is where we are going. 22 to 112. Maybe we go to 589. Wes, thank you for the chat. Absolutely. Fire Dog, thank you for the 10 spot. Thanks for sharing love and trench warfare on a regular basis. Love from the trenches. Fire Dog, appreciate you, brother. I got great feedback on the space that we did in trench warfare. A lot of our community members saying that they love that. I always like reversing the roles. You know, I do like, changing it up a little bit. As much as I like to hear myself talk, it is nice to get interviewed, and I like to take questions from the community too. And I think that we had a great session in trench warfare. And I've already said why I like to frequent that space. It's a late night space. After I get done with my live show, I can go take my shower and go wind down for the night and listen to an XRP space that's still high value. So I really enjoy you guys over there. Thank you, Fire Dog, for that. Christian Capon, thank you for the 5 spot. No sound. Great contents, brother, but no sound. Yeah, I think that we were cutting out earlier. There was something that glitched up earlier. I'm looking right now at our analytics, and in the middle of our live stream, we just had the numbers drop off. So we got hit with a glitch tonight, just like the XRP price glitches. You already know it. You know it. Yep. I'm seeing another order. The orders have been coming in on the XRP family merch. I'm going to wipe out my whole thing. I just got this order from Tyler and the Thai Project. I bought 50 of these. So we only have 50 in stock. At this pace, I'm going to be giving them all away for free. You guys are awesome. And if you go to my website and you go to our community resources tab, you can go to the link that says the Thai Project, and you can order the arc plates. Great utility there. He has other products available. You also can reach out to Tyler for your own designs if you want to do custom business cards. He sells all sorts of different products. He just got in a new machine too. He was telling me about it. And good guy. Good guy. Zach, did you sell your landscape business? Yes, I did. Yeah. Jay, market cap is cap. Jay, I'm going to put your shirt on too. Jay, my friend Jay, he sent me a shirt. Jay, huge shout out to Jay. He makes XRP family merch and other crypto merch too. And he sent me a shirt that said market cap is cap. Love that one, brother. I got to put that one on. Yep. Yep. Now, let's get caught up to speed here because you guys have just bombarded me. El Coco Loco. I love that name. I don't know how you guys come up with it. I appreciate you, Zach. I'm locked and loaded. Neil, thank you for the 10 spot. Yeah, and thank you. Thank you. Neil, for us guys with smaller bags, how do you feel about Tangem Wallet? Small bag, few thousand XRP H bar. Yeah, works great. Tangem's good. Yep. Mm-hmm. Red Squirrel, thank you for the 5 spot. Francisco answered your question. Thank you. Nick, thank you. Charles, Zach, do you think there will be good news tomorrow for XRP with Powell in the SEC case? Is Powell speaking tomorrow? Powell speaking tomorrow. Let me Google this. Okay, he is. Economic Outlook at the Economic Club of Chicago. Okay. No, it's not. I wouldn't. No. I'm expecting the Fed to cut rates in May. May 6th or 7th, I think, is the day that we'll get that announcement. Okay? So yeah, I'm expecting that in May. You're solid, bro. I'd have lost my mind without you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. RT, thank you for the 10 spot. Just ordered a camo hat. Were you going to do a deep dive on OXT? Thanks. Yes, I can. I feel like I've written that one down before. I will. Yeah, we're gonna drop some deep dives this week too. Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you for the support there, RT. Nick, thank you. Hi, Zach. Missed my message on 7 spot above. It's in reply. Okay. Yes, I got it, Nick. Watching from Tasmania, bottom of Australia. Wanted to shout you out. Wanted to shoot you a beer with love your channel, mate. Yeah. Wanted to shoot you a beer. Yeah. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate you, my friend. I'm Screw. Thank you for the 2 spot. Do you think it's possible XRP will hit 10,000 by July? Is it possible? Yes. Will it happen? No. Can XRP hit 10,000 this year? Is it possible? Yes. Will it happen? No. I think 20 to 30 bucks by the end of this year into next year. Yeah, 20 bucks by the end of this year into next year is my targets. Zach, how can I be sure it's you I'm chatting with? If it's on Patreon, if you're reaching us out on email through our website, if it's on Patreon, or if you verified in the Discord group. Only ways to know you're talking to me. Otherwise, you're not. I've shut down my DMs on TikTok. TikTok, you can't DM me. I've shut them down. I'm not on Instagram anymore. I'm not on Facebook anymore. Won't DM you anywhere. Discord group, Patreon, email, my website. Only safe places. They're even the scammers are trying to get into my Discord group. The scammers, they pay to get into my Discord group. They snapshot everybody in it. They create a fake account and then they start DMing people on Discord too. I've literally created walls to try to protect my community, and they're willing to pay to come in. They want to get at you guys so bad. I'm not DMing you. I'm not asking you for money. I'm not going to trade for you. We are not talking. Unless you go to my website, you reach out on Patreon, or you verified in the Discord group. Okay? Don't send any money. Don't send any XRP. No. No. You've never heard me ask for XRP for a trading group. I'm going to trade for you. I got anything going on like that. No. You'll email again? Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay, we're all caught up on the super chats. Let's go rapid fire Q&A. I still got something cold to sip on. Huge shout out to my Stanley Cup here for keeping the adult beverage cold. I get ranting and raving, and I still got this thing sitting here. Okay, appreciate you guys. Are you familiar with ACH? Yes. Mostly hype. Mostly getting pumped up again. Dog tags. Any XRP family merch order placed during this live show, you're going to get a free one. Do I have the black hat with just the X on it for sale? Not yet. It's coming. On the way. Yep. On the way. The thing with the merch and all this stuff is I can only put it on the website once we get inventory in. Once we pay the tariffs. Just kidding. Once we pay the tariffs. Once we get it from the wholesaler from China. It's been interesting to watch this whole saga unfold. My TikTok, all the videos of them saying, hey, get your Gucci bag here. Okay? Get your Gucci bag here. We don't have Gucci bags for sale. I'd rather have a bag of XRP than a Gucci bag. I don't know about you guys. You're bringing Jello shots to Zach's yacht party? Yeah. My yacht party is going to be on one of your guys' yachts, though. That's the thing. I'm not buying a boat. I'm not buying a yacht. One of you guys are. And next, we already got big boats in the XRP family, too. I know some folks. We got some big boats in the XRP family already. They might get a little bit bigger. Yeah, James, that would be good. Can we get XRP coffee cups or bearables to collect? We should. Yeah. Yeah, it's on the way. Yeah. Yep. Can I talk about XDC and Quant? Well, Quant's lagging price performance wise. I asked Twitter the other day, what's the scoop on Quant? Nobody had a response. That to me is a great tell, right? When I ask about a crypto project and nobody can explain what's going on, any updates in the ecosystem, that's a big red flag to me. You know, and so Quant's lagging. I know a lot of people in our community still hold Quant. I've talked about my targets for Quant. I don't think it breaks above $400 or $500 this bull run. $400 or $500. Make the taxation is theft again shirt. Love it. Picked one up. You know, I should list that one back, huh? It wasn't one of our top sellers, so I took it off the website. But we should do that one, huh? Make taxation theft again. Perfect day today, huh? Talk about the companies that invested in Ripple. Yeah. Let me go back to XDC, though. XDC, I'm going to provide a deep dive on them. Kind of basically just an update on what's happening within their ecosystem. Quant, I can take a look at that one too. I know for, you know, just gauging the community and asking the community, nobody had a response. That's not a good sign. You know, so yeah, I don't own any Quant. I do own XDC. XDC has a nice little niche carved out, but I'd like to get an update as far as the adoption. How's it coming along? Francisco, thank you for the 5 spot. Will I be able to buy stuff with my XRP or do I need to take cash out to do so? I'm definitely buying a yacht. Oh, you'll be able to buy with your XRP. See, like I said earlier, with the DeFi programs, and I said you're going to have the suits wanting your business. You're going to have all these DeFi, decentralized protocols that are ready to take your XRP. And then we've already seen many companies are already accepting XRP. Many companies are already accepting XRP as payment. And that will continue. So you'll be able to take out a loan, putting XRP up as collateral, and you'll be able to just pay with your XRP for properties, for yachts, for cars. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, whether or not you should go buy the little whippy whip Lambo, it's up to you guys. No Lambo for me, no yacht for me. Okay? I might get a horse. A little horsey horse. No Lambo for me. Nvidia, James, the upside to me is just so limited in the stocks right now. Nvidia's already in corrective structure. Let me take a look at it. Let's take a look at Nvidia. That's right. Where's my stocks at? I thought that I had it here. I guess I don't. Oh yeah, it's right here. Ooh, we got a new TikTok order too on the TikTok shop. Thank you. Am I in IOTA? I sold out. I no longer am in IOTA. I'm screwed. Thank you for the 2 spot. XRP surpasses Bitcoin, 100,000 per XRP. Would I be surprised? Yeah, that would be a lot, right? To surpass Bitcoin in dollar terms would be a lot. It really would take a lot, right? But I would see it would be more likely for Bitcoin to crash and XRP surpasses it. XRP goes to $1,000 or 10,000 and Bitcoin comes back down below those levels. That would be more likely in my opinion. Okay. But James, to answer your question on Nvidia, let's see here. You know, it's just, man. You know, this thing's just gone on an absolute tear. All these stocks have just gone on an absolute tear. And so how much more can we squeeze out of it? Right? That's the question I have on these big stocks. It just took a big hit today with Trump saying that they will still have to be in the tariffs. Yeah. This thing's gone on just a heck of a run. But I mean, even for Nvidia to double, right? You're still just looking at 100% returns. And what I worry about is these drawdowns, right? So this drawdown right here from 21 into 2022 was a 67%, almost a 70% drawdown. This drawdown back here in 18 was 57%. So you have the same amount of downside risk as crypto, but the upside, what's the upside? I mean, if I measure from the lows back there in, what was that, 2019, when it was at $3, I mean, that's 4,600%. That's a pump that you would see in the cryptocurrency space. It's already done it. And with this AI disruption taking place, to me, it's just kind of risky because you still have that exposure to the downside. And at this point, how much upside potential do you have? I think it's limited. So to me, it doesn't get me overly excited. In fact, we've just pulled back 43% from that peak. So, I mean, if you're already in NVIDIA, sure, you could handle a 40%, 50%, 60% drawdown, and you just let that number keep on going. You let that chart keep on going up and to the right. But it's just not something that excites me personally. Dennis, thank you for the 5 spot. I believe they are holding Atkins back, preparing for a big announcement. Yeah, so basically he's already been confirmed by the Senate. Now we're just waiting. There's like a few procedural things. I saw that Eleanor Terrett had mentioned it. Yeah. Yeah, I'd seen that Eleanor Terrett had mentioned something about a few procedures were holding up Atkins from officially coming in. So, yeah, and the case is over. That'll be one of the things. We talked about it. They're going to hand it off on a silver platter to Paul Atkins. It looks like that's the case. Yo, Zach, I got a white hat, but I want a snapback. Thanks. Send us an email. Send us an email to merch@zachrector.com and send me your order number and just let us know. And we can probably make it happen. Although, maybe not. I'm trying to think. I don't know if we have any white snapbacks. I'll have to let you know. Especially on the hats, we got to make sure we have the inventory in before we can offer it. But send me an email. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what the team can do. Okay? Thank you. Griff, thank you for the 5 spot. Praise Jesus. We're happy your medical appointment went well. May the Lord Jesus continue to bless you and your family. Griff, thank you for the support. Thank you for the prayers. Amen to that. And actually, I have my appointment with my doctor in a couple of days to figure out actually how well I'm doing. But I survived the exercise test. I did an exercise test. I did a echo, a couple other things. I always do an EKG too. And then this time around, they had me do an MRI. They noted that they're starting to see, I like to simplify this, they're starting to see a little bit of wear and tear on the valve that I had replaced. So I had open heart surgery where they cut me open when I was 5 and they swapped my aortic and pulmonary valve. They took one valve out, they put in an artificial one, did a little swapperoo. And then back in 2017, I had my second surgery. And this is one where they did a catheter procedure. It's just incredible what they can do. Where they went up through my leg, right? They go up through that artery, right in your thigh, and basically they just snaked up a new valve stent, snaked it up in there, let it go. He said basically, we're going to put it up in there, we're going to inflate it, and then we're going to let it go. And I literally, I don't even think I was in the hospital overnight for that procedure. I don't even think maybe I spent one night in the hospital. In and out. Bang, bang. There you go. But it's been about a decade since I had that procedure done. And so they're noting that there is, a little bit of wear and tear on it. So that's why they're having, I do a checkup every year, but they're doing some extra tests this year to see where we stand. So I'll get the full synopsis in a couple days. And all I do is I ask God to keep on providing me the opportunity. That's all I ask for. Keep the family healthy, and I just thank Him. I thank God for the opportunity. That's all I do. Say, God, if you give me another decade, I know we're going to secure generational wealth for my family. We're going to be able to do some great things for the community too. We're going to be able to secure ours, but we're also going to be able to do some incredible things. So, and I always think about too, if I was born 100 years ago, I wouldn't be here. Before they had all these procedures and they could do all these things, I wouldn't be here. So that's a blessing in itself. The fact that I was born in 94, had my surgery in 2000, I believe. 99, 2000. And then they gave me a little update. And I usually joke with my friends and family about how eventually I'm going to have to ask them to unplug me. They're going to get so sophisticated with this technology that the next update that I get, it's going to be too good. When I get over 100 years old, I'll tell them, okay, this is enough, Doc. That's enough. Thank you. We've done our piece. Praise God. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Zach, what do you think about cashing out a big amount with XDC tokenized gold and then collect the physical? I didn't know that there was tokenized gold on XDC. I guess I need to take a look at that. Yeah, a big focus for me this year too is health. Been getting back into working out, trying to eat healthier. Yeah, definitely gotta. Med beds. Yep. You guys know. And powerful stuff on the way. Powerful stuff here. Powerful technologies that are hidden from us. But they got a prescription for you, don't they? They got a program. That program equals a lot of profit, doesn't it? All right. Let's do another 17 minutes of Q&A. Let's do another 17 minutes. Peptides. I know my wife's been talking about the peptides. Yeah. Is buying more XRP gambling? No, it is if you don't have the right mindset and you don't understand, you haven't researched XRP. But if you're picking up XRP from a fundamental investment standpoint, that's not gambling. That's betting on it for sure, in my opinion. The coast is clear to new all-time high and to a double-digit XRP with very minimal inflows into the asset. The coast is clear. So is that gambling? No. If you take the position with leverage, if you take it as a day trade, let me buy it today, maybe I'll swing trade it over the next couple weeks, that's gambling. If you pick up a spot position of XRP now based off of fundamentals, that's not gambling. All right. No more under $2. No, I talked about it earlier in this episode. We still could see additional pullbacks below $2 actually, but they will not last long. They will not last long. And you're seeing, I talked about this with Waters Above Crypto. The markets are being desensitized to the tariff talk. See, that's a whole nother story about just how desensitized we are to everything. I saw somebody put out a post that was like, we just had the CIA or the government admit that aliens turned some guys into stone or something like that. And it was declassified and nobody's even paying attention to it. Like we've become so desensitized that, the government's talked about all this, quantum physics, teleportation, all these things are being declassified, aliens, UFOs. We're on to the next thing. Is my meme coin pumping? That's the question that we have. I'm buying the dip on the aliens. The alien invasion is the dip I will be buying on. Just got a t-shirt. Can't wait to wear it. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Did you just place that order tonight? You'll be receiving a free. You let me know what you want. We have the XRP family and we have the Better Bitcoin. Okay. So if you placed an order tonight for XRP family merch, you're getting a dog tag. We're going to reach out to you and ask you which one you want. Yeah. For those of you guys who don't know, we have a drinking game on this channel. Not that we encourage degeneracy, but every time we mention aliens, we take a sip of our adult beverage or whatever you're up to. Take a sip of your coffee. Take a breath of fresh air. Whatever you're up to. Does XRP need a $1 trillion market cap to boom? I'm screwed. Thank you for the question. No. We need inflows. We need money coming into the asset. I would encourage you to watch some of my most recent videos talking about, if you look up XRP market cap myth exposed, once again, XRP market cap myth exposed, type that into YouTube. My video will pop up. It's a full breakdown with the whiteboard. You can also look up some of the most recent videos we did in the past week talking about the multiplier. And in these videos, I explain using real data, simple math, conservative assumptions, showing that it takes very little inflows to move this asset up significantly. So it's not one of those where we need XRP to have a $1 trillion market cap. No, you don't put the cart before the horse. You need inflows. That's what equates to the $1 trillion market cap. And it's not $1 trillion of inflows, by the way. That's the main observation and point that I've been trying to get across in my market cap multiplier videos. Is it's not one-to-one. Not even close. Not even close. AJ11, thank you for the 5 spot. Cash out tokenized gold, then collect a physical. Seems like the loophole everyone needs. What say you? Yeah, so like I said, for me, I don't have precious metals that's held by anybody else. That's just me. All of my silver, right? I don't have gold. I have 1 gram of gold that was given to me by a Canadian friend of mine, Randy. Huge shout out to Randy. I saw somebody put up a post, the new $100 bill, and it was a picture of 1 gram of gold. So I was laughing at that, but huge shout out to Randy. She gave me a little bit of gold. But I have my silver. I own it in mine, and I'm not really interested in getting exposure through tokenized gold, synthetic gold, or gold ETFs. Now, there are reasons to use those products. It's just not for me right now. I'm not looking to trade a gold ETF. I'm not looking to trade tokenized gold. I want something that I can use when the lights go out or the aliens invade us. This guy on TikTok, dude, it's down to 208. I've been hearing about this bull run for way too long. Imagine holding this asset since 2018, my friend. Welcome to the party. Cheers. The good news is we're in the middle of it, and we've already seen a big one right on out of the park. We've already seen a big one. This is the mentality right here. Dez just got 2 jobs just for this year. Grinding time. Grinding time. Yes. That's what it's about. 2 jobs. Got a job. Get a side hustle. Turn your side hustle into your main business. Got a business. Let's scale it up. Got a business. Buy another one. Make a quantum leap. The reason why my mentor Dan Pena says right now the market is only getting better for us is because there's only one moving piece to his program, and it's motivated sellers. So when we get mass fear, chaos, and blood in the streets, we get more motivated sellers, people that are willing to sell and give away the keys to their business. They just want out. And most people don't have a succession plan. You guys have all watched the show Succession. And if you haven't, I encourage you to. It's one of a few shows that my mentor Dan Pena actually recommends because it gives you a glimpse into the real world of high net worth families, how the businesses ran, the media, the billionaires, the big hitters. Succession, Billions. Those are a couple shows that I've watched all through. Actually watched them a couple times now. They're entertaining as heck, but they also give you an insight into that world. But a lot of people have watched that show Succession. They don't realize they don't have a succession plan themselves. And now that we're into this type of environment, you're going to have more motivated sellers that need a succession plan. You can be their succession plan. Their kids don't want to take over the business. You can take over the business. I've talked about you're at your job and you're thinking to yourself, well, why do I keep working for this guy? Well, instead of leaving to go start your own company from zero, which I've done it the hard way. I had my property service business for 10 years, a decade. Shovel in the dirt. I've done it the hard way. There's other ways to do it, though. Ripple just made a massive quantum leap, as we discussed tonight, with that acquisition of Hidden Road. Now, I see we just got another one here from Zeus Fox Knight. Thank you for the 10 spot. Why does Jake Claver predict a market collapse as soon as stablecoin regs initiate, leaving 50 to 100 projects alive versus your prediction, we are going 5x? What is your hypothesis? Well, my hypothesis is 20 to 30 bucks by 1 year after the ETFs go live. That's the end of this year into the beginning of next year. That's my time frame. I think that Jake sees some of these dominoes falling faster and XRP being used as a solution during a liquidity crisis, driving demand for the asset to prices of $1,000, right? Or somewhere in between, right? He could be right. I would love for Jake to be right. I love the fact, and I've told Jake this, that I love the fact that he is still talking about $1,000 XRP. I've taken so many shots over the years talking about $10,000 XRP and others. And the only reason why I don't talk about those high prices anymore is mostly because the comments and content that I make around it get taken out of context, where people take snippets and people take it out of context and they share it out, and it makes me look bad. But then I believe that it also represents XRP improperly, and it stops folks from coming into our space and understanding what XRP is, because they can't wrap their minds around how the asset could go to that price. Looking at it through a trade finance lens of market cap, looking at it compared to Bitcoin, looking at it compared to other stocks, and they can't wrap their mind around it. And so I don't want that to be a barrier from getting them to understand XRP. So the way that I look at it is strictly from representing myself and how my content will get represented. And I know how many new people are still coming in and watch my content, right? That's the problem with having a platform like mine that is rapidly expanding, is we have so many new people coming in. And if they first show up and they hear me talking about aliens, and hopefully they can take that joke and understand some of our other jokes that we got, right? But then they hear me talking about $1,000 XRP, a lot of folks will just tune me out right away. And so that's just been my approach. And the other thing with talking about $100 or $1,000 XRP this year, I don't rule it out. I don't rule out any high prices of XRP. I don't rule out a collapsed timeline. We just saw a domino that fell. That's I keep on saying 10 trillion. It's 10 billion daily basis. It's 3 trillion on a yearly basis. So we just saw a $3 trillion domino fall. That collapses the timeline. Does it make me want to bank on $1,000 XRP this year, though? No, not yet. No, I'm not there yet. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Send it. Send it. I've talked about Bitcoin. Send it to 200,000 like Brad Garlinghouse predicted. It's more liquidity. But yeah, I think that that's the big difference. We'll see. Yeah, that's a good point, Dennis. Jake's somebody who's talked with Ripple. He's talked with, other institutional investors, other family offices. He's privy to other conversations. He's talked with R3. He's, under NDA on some of these conversations. So, there's some conversations that he's privy to that I am not, right? So we'll see. We will see. How confident are you in XRP rising in price? 100%. 100%. Ooh, I like this. This is going to be a good one. J101. Thank you for the 5 spot. Zach, you can collect physical gold from your tokenized ticket with XDC. Seems like a good cash out option rather than a banker institution. Okay, I like that because he says you can collect the physical. As long as it is redeemable in gold, I'm a fan. Otherwise, not a fan. It's like the tokenized 50-year gold-backed bond that the U.S. government might issue next year. If it's not redeemable in gold, I'm not interested. I want it paid in gold. But speaking of that, somebody that I've had on the show last year was Rick Rule. Actually, it might have even been 2023 now. It's been a while since I had Rick on. Huge shout out to Rick Rule, legendary commodity investor. He's now live with his bank, Battle Bank, where you can put up your precious metals as collateral for loans. So he's actually taking clients now for Battle Bank a bank that he's been working on getting live now for a couple years. I think he's been dealing with the same regulators that we're up against in the cryptocurrency space. But shout out to Rick Rule and his new company, Battle Bank. Actually, it's about time that I reach back out to Rick and get him back on the show to get his take on markets and on his new bank. But yeah, Jay, I like that. As long as it's redeemable in gold, love it. This new bank that Rick Rule is launching, love the idea behind that. Big fan. Because nobody's really providing liquidity for, or products like this for your precious metals. So yeah. Okay. All right, guys, we've officially hit the 2-hour mark on tonight's live show. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. I'm going to cut this show off. I'll give you 2 more minutes. Okay. If you want to place an order and you want to get a free dog tag, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes before I shut this show down. But I told everybody we were just going to do 10. We were going to give away 10 dog tags. We ran up that in the first 20 minutes. So I upped the ante. Everybody that places an order for XRP Family merch during this live show will get a free dog tag. And I'm going to give you 1 minute, 30 seconds. Clock is ticking. Okay? We're going to wrap up tonight's show. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm feeling amazing. Markets, where are they at? Are they going up? Are they going down? The fundamentals continue to line up. And the fundamentals shows the trajectory that we're on. The quantum leap that Ripple just took is massive, and I think that we're still, speculating on how much is actually going to come to the XRP ledger. But the key fact is that a portion is on the way, and we're talking about a portion of 3 trillion. Just like I've been talking about getting a portion of that SWIFT volume that's 5 trillion daily. Think about that. Ripple just acquired Hidden Road, which is 3 trillion on a yearly basis. SWIFT does 5 to 6 trillion daily. That's where we're going. Okay? So somewhere in between here and 589 or 10,000 is where we're going. And I'm sure excited and having a good time on the journey with you guys. If you appreciate what we're doing, make sure you guys have liked this video. All of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. Please watch out for scammers. I will not DM you. The only safe space to talk with me is on Patreon or our Discord group. You also can reach out on my website if you have any questions or comments. For those of you guys that did place an order for merch during tonight's live show, we're going to have the team reach out to you and we're going to ask you which dog tag you would like, whether that be the XRP family or the Better Bitcoin dog tag. Okay? And I might have to call Tyler up and order some more because I think we might be selling out quick on these ones, okay? Kyle, thank you for the 5 spot. I appreciate the time you sacrifice from your family to do this content. God bless you. Kyle, thank you. Thank you. At this hour, I'm only sacrificing time with wifey, which that's important too. But yeah, on these live shows, we like to get the kids down. Most of the time, we get them down right at 7 o'clock anyways. 7 o'clock my time, which is 10 Eastern. And so usually we can put the kids down and then I can come hang out with you guys. So don't miss any time with the kids, and shout out to wifey for supporting the cause. She's always there to back me up, and I really wouldn't be doing this without her. So we appreciate her a lot. RT, thank you for the 5 spot. Did you ever get one of the Ninja silver coins with the 100 XRP on it? I did not. Shout out to the Ninja. I saw that he did that. That's very cool. Very cool. I like that. I do like that idea. We've been talking about mixing precious metals and cryptocurrency for a while now. I just had a great conversation with Andy Scheckman too in Vancouver. He wants to work on that too. There's a lot of people that want to do it. I know Reggie Middleton with Veritasium. They're doing the same thing. We need the regulators to set things straight, and then I think you're just going to see an explosion of real-world assets tokenized on-chain. Digital meets physical, which is what we've been investing in the whole time. We run our businesses, we stack our cash so that we can stack it physical, we can stack it digital. We're invested in the old world, we're invested in the new world. That's how we're playing it. You guys are amazing. Okay? I'm cutting it off. I'm cutting it off. Everybody that ordered the merch, thank you so much for supporting the cause. The team will be reaching out to you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all. Thank you so much.